Hey guys, so today I want to talk about iOS 17.5.1. This software update has now been available for 2 weeks as of the filming of this video. Now, within 2 weeks' time, I've had some time to dig around the software, experience any bugs and issues. You guys also provided some feedback, and I wanted to put everything into one video because I feel like iOS 17.5.2 may be available very, very soon. Now, keep in mind that next week, iOS 18 Beta 1 will be releasing on June 10th. And I know some of you guys may be confused, why will Apple continue to release new software updates for iOS 17 if we're going to test iOS 18? Keep in mind that although iOS 18 Beta 1 will be available next week, it's only going to be in beta, and it will remain in beta until perhaps mid to late September. So that's several months. Apple needs to continue to release new software updates for iOS 17 for the general public to continue to address as many issues as possible. Now, one thing to note is that iOS 17.5.1 does address a rare issue where some old deleted photos from years ago would resurface on iPhones after updating to 17.5. So 17.5.1 was sort of an emergency release to address the issue where old photos would resurface on iPhones, but there's still some issues being reported here. Now, before we get to some of the information, I want to give you guys some background information in regards to AirPods. There's a new firmware update happening right now, so if you haven't gotten it yet, make sure you pair your AirPods Pro 2nd generation to your iPhone. Let them sit next to each other while connected to a power source, and the latest firmware update for AirPods Pro 2nd generation USB-C and Lightning should happen. The firmware update is 6F7. Now, it was released last week, so most of you guys are probably updated automatically, and you can check by obviously going into the AirPods settings inside of your settings application. But something interesting is that Apple always mentions bug fixes and other improvements for every single firmware update. I would love to see Apple be more specific. I know some of you guys mentioned that the active noise cancellation was tampered with one more time with AirPods Pro 2nd generation. Although I haven't noticed any difference, there is a new firmware update available for AirPods. Now, for those of you that love wallpapers, Apple released a new wallpaper for a new store opening in Malaysia. So right there it is. I'll link this one in the description down below. If you want to grab it, this will be linked down below. All you have to do is scroll down and click download wallpaper, and you can download it to your devices. Now let's talk about 17.5.1 because there's been some overheating reports on the latest 17.5.1. I did encounter this once where my iPhone just stopped charging because it was a little too warm according to the device itself. Now, I haven't experienced it anymore, but right now it looks like the battery life on iOS 17.5.1, at least on my experience, has been stable pretty much ever since. So I know a lot of you guys continue to report poor battery life on the latest 17.5.1, but last night I did a test. I charged up around 9:30 at night all the way to 80, and then I let YouTube run all night basically on this iPhone, and it made it basically through the entire night. So it made it all the way to like 8 a.m. So it did last quite a bit with YouTube running in the background basically all night. So the battery life is sort of stabilized a bit, at least in my experience. I know some of you guys continue to have issues, and I haven't experienced the overheating more than once throughout the past 2 weeks. Now, my battery health, this is one thing that's taken a hit. It's at 89 right now with 312 cycles, as you can see right there. Now, let me know what the battery life is for you, because for me, it's sort of stable. It isn't the best, but it isn't the worst. Now, I want to talk about connectivity because this has also been an issue for many iPhone users for quite some time. I continue to hear poor Wi-Fi and Bluetooth performance on 17.5.1. Now, I have to say that Bluetooth has been pretty good for me on the latest firmware update, 17.5.1, and the latest AirPods firmware. But in regards to Wi-Fi, it seems that some of the Apple apps themselves are the ones having issues, like Apple TV. I've noticed that sometimes I'm watching something on Wi-Fi and then I have to go into 5G to continue watching, and then the actual video or whatever it is that I'm watching continues to play, and just Wi-Fi randomly disconnecting for many users. So if we go over here, for example, to my YouTube community poll, this is where you guys also provide some feedback. So I love doing these right here. As you can see, let's go into some of the comments here, and you see that battery life issues is one of those battery life issues. It's the second comment. The third comment here is some issues with app shuttering. So when you open and close apps, they sort of have this sort of shuttering effect. I haven't experienced that too many times, but yes, it is something. And heating issues it's also a thing. So right there you see that overheating issues, we have some performance issues, and of course the battery issue, which is the #1 most popular comment on my YouTube community poll. Now, as I mentioned, although battery life has been pretty stable for me, it doesn't mean that many users are not having issues, especially with those Wi-Fi performance issues as well. I think Apple should release another software update, iOS 17.5.2. Not to mention that some alarms are not going off. This was an issue with iOS 17.5.1, and it continues to be an issue to this day. So hopefully Apple will release a new software update to address the Wi-Fi issues, the overheating issues. We also have, of course, the alarm issues and the battery issues for many users. Let me know how iOS 17.5 has been working for you so far. That's been my experience so far with 17.5.1 throughout the past 2 weeks of testing the software. Thank you for watching this quick update, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.